Hey everyone, and welcome back to VFX 5 once again. Today's video is going to be a very interesting video because we are going to discuss what will be the best SS workflow for VFX industry. Again, this is my experience. I am sharing this thing which I am using. You might be a different, but this is the workflow which almost every industry is using. So before starting anything, I would like to tell you that in this video, I'm going to use three softwares. First will be your Resolve, second will be Nuke, and third will be your Maya. Instead of Maya, you can use any different softwares as well, like Blender and Max or Houdini, but I'm going to use Maya. Resolve I'm going to use to edit and export my ACES data for Nuke. And from Nuke, I'm going to do tracking. I'm going to export my tracking data to Maya. And also I'm going to export my undistorted plate for Maya for my CG work. So I hope this will be a very interesting video and I hope you will learn something new. So without wasting any time, let's get started. Okay, so as you can see over here in my Resolve setup, I'm having one footage. So this footage is from a Sony Alpha A7 IV, I guess, and it's a 10-bit RAW. If you are having these kind of footages, mostly you will have your RAW footage, and you have, again, based upon what kind of input you have, you might change few things to follow ACES workflow. But for this footage, I'm having this workflow. So this is 10-bit RAW, and of course, I need to edit few things, like I don't want to use entire footage. So first thing first, what I will do after importing over here, I'm going to my edit timeline, and for sure I'm going to drag and drop. I will be able to change for edit. Mostly I am thinking to use from this place, like I will use a razor tool. I'll cut. Also I will go might be till this frame and I'll cut. I don't want this one and I don't want this one as well. So this much footage I want, right? Once my editing is done, might be you will have multiple footages or multiple clips to edit. You can edit in single go. And once your editing is done, what I have to do, I have to go for color tab. And once I'm going to color tab, you will have something like this. For me, it's single clip, so I don't need to go to timeline. But if you are having multiple clips in single timeline, what you have to do, just you have to go to timeline. What timeline will activate, like whatever changes you are doing, it will be for entire timeline, not for any single clip, right? So for timeline, once you will be in timeline, you will have nothing over here. So just go to effect and you have to go down and you have to drag and drop ACES transform, and I'll connect this as per my requirement. And what you have to change, you have to go to input transform. Input transform means what you are getting from camera, right? So my camera was Sony A7 IV, so I'll go and I'll use my gamut is Sony S-Log3 Gamut 3 Cine. So I'm going to use this as an input transform, and what I want for my output transform. So as I mentioned that I want to use ACES workflow and I have to take this footage for 3D work as well. So what I will do, I will go to output transform, and in output transform, I'm going to use ACES CG. Keep it in mind, ACES CG. So I'm going to select my ACES CG, and if you'll see over here, you will have a very dark footage or a dark clip, but need not to worry. You are seeing this thing in linear, that's why it's coming out that dark. Once I will import it inside Nuke, you will have a neutral and well balanced footage for your work. So once this is done, what I need to do, I need to export that thing. That much setting I need to do. So to export that thing, I will go to deliver tab, and in deliver tab, I'll browse where I want to store my thing. Once I'm done with selecting my folder and file name, what I have to do, I have to select format. So of course I'll go and I'll select my EXR. So that will be good. codec should be RGB half. I'm not going to change anything. You have to make sure 24 frame per second is enabled. And also I'll go to file and I'll make sure what frame padding I want. Mostly I'll go for 4, and I want each clip start at frame number 1001, which I always follow. And I think nothing I have to change, and just I'll go and I'll hit add to render queue, and here in your render queue you'll have your timeline, and just hit render all. So it will take some time, and once this is done I'll come back in Nuke. Okay, so we are here inside Nuke, and first thing first, what you need to do, you need to do setup for ACEs. So I'll come over here and I'll hit S on keyboard and I'll go to color, and in color management I'll have Nuke. By default color management is Nuke, so I have to select OCIO, and in OCIO configuration I need to click and go to ACEs, and I have to use ACEs 1.2. So might be you will have 1.3, 1.2, 1.1 in Resolve or in other softwares like Substance Painter and all, or for now we have to use 1.2 because 1.2 is stable, and in Nuke we are having the latest one is 1.2. So I'm going to select 1.2 and everything will be aligned over here. Now what I will do, I will import my footage. So I'll go over here and I'll select my footage and I'll hit Control V. So once I imported my footage, as I told you that if you'll compare version from Resolve to Nuke, everything is like well balanced. In Resolve we are having a very dark or very contrasty footage, but over here in Nuke it's all done. One thing I would like to share that by default your output LUT is sRGB, but if you're working for any series kind of thing like OTT platform, I'll suggest you to use Rex 709. It's a little brighter version, but this is recommended for any OTT platform, but rest of anything sRGB is okay. So once I'm done with this, I'll go to root and might be I'll adjust my resolution to UHD 4K, and I am going to track this footage first. Before starting tracking, this is not a hardcore tracking video. I'm just showing how to use ACEs workflow. So if you want, I can create this scene live CG integration shot. For now, I'm not going to go deep into tracking or how to model things like that. I'm not going to do that. This is just an overview of ACEs workflow. I'll focus on that only. If I can see, I'm having a very little movement. It won't be any problem for me to track. So I'll go and I'll directly take a camera tracker node. Or if you want, you can go over here. You will have 3D and classic. So probably I'll go classic way. So I'll go and I'll use camera tracker. And I'm going over here, and for now I think it's all okay for me. I'll go to setting and I'll preview features. Might be I will use 2000 features for this. Also what I'll do, I'll go to camera motion. This is free camera motion. I want my Nuke to calculate lens distortion. So I'll go over here and I'll say unknown lens. I don't know what kind of lens I'm using, but just calculate for me, right? Rest I'm not going to change anything, and I'll go and I'll hit track. It will start tracking. I'll come back once this is done. Okay, so I'm done with tracking, and after my tracking has been done, I'll go over here and I'll click solve. If you can see, my solving is not that great. Might be I need to add few manual track points, something like that, but let me fix that, then I'll come back once this is done. Okay, so I did few tweakings, like I added a grade and added a sharpen. Now I'm having a good result, although my ground is not that plain. But what I will do, I will select few points on ground, like I'll select few of them on ground like this. This is not recommended, but just to show you, I'm going to right click and I'll ground plane and I'll set to selected, and also I'll select one point over here and right click, I'll set origin. If I'm going to hit tab, definitely you will able to see I'm having these points on ground, although I am seeing that my point clouds of sky is coming in front of camera, which is not good, but I'm not going to solve this thing. because again this is a what workflow we are following, right? So I'll go over here, and after that might be I can reduce my error by going auto track, and I'll go over here. Although I should have done my refining before adjusting to ground plane, but need not to worry. I'll go over here and I will delete unsolved and delete rejected. Okay, once I'm satisfied with my aligning things, and if I'll go over here and I'm having okay things, again it's all up to you. You can refine your tracking before adjusting your ground plane, and but for now it's all okay for me. Now I'll go over here and I'll go to camera tracker, and I'll go and I'll select my scene plus, because I want my distortion data as well, and I'll hit create. Okay, once I'm done with solving and exporting my data, so as you can see over here, I'm having my camera tracker and everything is done. My camera is over here, my point clouds are over here. Major thing, I want to show you my lens distortion. So this is my width distortion, and if I'm showing it to you, this is kind of pin cushion distortion, but I'm not sure this is correct or not, because as soon as I can see, it's a wide shot. Probably it should be a barrel distortion, but Nuke decided that it is a pin cushion distortion. That's why it's happening like that. So we'll follow like that, right? So once I'm done, I need to export these things for my Maya. So what I'll do, I'll hit W on keyboard and I'll connect this thing over here, and I will go to export my distortion plate. So you can easily see I have already exported that data, so I don't need to export that thing. Also, I want to export my scene setup. So to export your scene setup, I'm going to use a node called write geo. Of course, you need to test your tracking and all. So write geo will help us to export my geometry. So already I've exported my scene.fbx. So you need to select your fbx file where you want to save, and just you need to execute that thing. So automatically your scene will be exported in fbx format. Now I'll save it and I'll jump to Maya. So I'm inside Maya, and first thing first, I will go and I will check over here like what kind of color management we are using. So if you can see, rendering space is ACES CG and display is sRGB and view is ACES 1.0. So by default in Maya, you will have ACES workflow already set. If you want to change it, you can change it, but I don't think I need to change anything because already OCIO is enabled. So once I'm done with checking color management, what I have to do, I have to go to my scene which I have exported, and just I need to drag and drop. Automatically it will be taken care by Maya, so it will take some time to import. And if you can see, I am having my this scene. So if you think that this is a very small scene, what I can suggest, I will suggest to select entire thing like object. I am having test object as well, and you can hit Control G just to group, and you can hit R on keyboard and you can scale entire group like this. Of course, your camera should not be that big, so I can individually I can scale down camera. It won't create any problem. And I'll go over here and camera, and I can see my locators as way too big. So I'll select all my locators like this, and I'll hit R on keyboard and I'll start scaling it. So again, I'm scaling the group first, and then I'm scaling my individual elements and all. So these are something which I am having, and also I'll go over here and might be camera 1. This is my camera 1, and over here again I need to decide like 1001. So this is my frame range 1001 to 1129, and this is what I'm having. And if I'm going to see, my camera is moving. So also I'm having few elements. Again, what I'll do, I'll go over here and I'll select my camera view. I'll go to my image plane, import image, and I'll go to that place where my images are. So I am going to select my this image, and again this will be over here, and also I'll click use image sequence. So what happened, it will be worked like this, and then again I will keep importing whatever 3D asset I want. So for this example, I'm having few 3D assets, like I'll go and I'll import it. Okay, so I downloaded few asset from Fab, and if you can see, I'm having rusted kind of barrel. So I'll go and I'll try to match this thing. I'll go over here, might be I'll scale it a little more, and also I'll create one ground plane so that I'll have my ground plane. And of course I'll go over here and might be through my camera perspective I'll start placing it, and I think it's too big. So that's the thing. Either if you want, you can start modeling. If you have any asset, you can just bring it into your scene and you can start arranging it. Might be I can add few more elements over here and then I'll come back once this is done. Okay, so as you can see over here, I am having my entire lighting setup, and if I will show you, this is my image plane, and if I'll go over here and I'll do RGBA, if you can see I'm having this asset, one asset over here, one asset over here. So again, I don't need many asset for this example. I just want to show you the workflow, and if I want to render it, just I need to go to my image plane and just I'll hit none. And also what I have to do, I'll go over here, I'll go to perspective, and if you can see I'm having one light over here just to give fill, and over cloudy HDR image I'm using just to match my lighting and all. So once I'm done, I am going over here and I'll select my file name prefix and merge AOB if I want to render any render passes. But for example, I'm not rendering any render passes, and I'll set my frame range over here like 1001 to 1129, and renderable camera will be camera 1, and this will be my width and height. And also I'll go over here and I'll make sure I'm increasing some camera samples like diffuse. I'm not using any SSS and volume indirect, so I keep it 00, and only I'm rendering my crypto assets. So that's the setting I'm using, and I'm going to put it on render and I'll come back in Nuke once this is done. Okay, as you can see over here, I am having my asset, and if I'll show you like this, I'm having camera movement as I have in my actual footage. So what I'll do, I'll start arranging it, and I need to take care about if it's in scene linear or not. It should be in scene linear. And what I will do, I did some experiments over here. I'm not going to show it to you. I'll do it from scratch. So I'll take a merge node, and of course I need to start my compositing on my actual footage. So this will be my background, and of course this will be my foreground, right? But one thing I need to take care about that, what kind of lens distortion I'm having. So as per my footage, I'm having pin cushion distortion, but I'm not sure if this is correct or not. For this example, I'm using this thing distortion which I am having from Nuke. So I'll copy and paste. What I will do, I'll go over here, I'll keep this one, and in undistortion I will use redistort. So what will happen, Nuke will redistort my 3D renders, and if I'm going to see, now it's looking pretty good. But again, if you can see, I'm not having color match, I'm not having shadows match. So let's do that, right? So first thing first, what I will do, I will go over here and I will take a node called grade and I'll disable it. I'm going to increase my gain and I'll check my blacks are off. So probably I'll go over here and I will pick this black. Might be I can increase a little bit more, and in black point I'm going to select black of my target, and also selecting my source black. I'll be a little greedy because I want my shadows to be matched with this ground, dark ground, right? So what I'll do, I'll just increase it, and might be this thing will work for me. So I will go over here and I can take shadow reference from this point, right? And if I'm going to enable this, if you can see, I'm having a little match. Can you see? What I can say, I can disable it, and also I'll go over here and might be I'll select actual ground which I want to match. So I'll go over here. I'm a little greedy, that's it, nothing much. So I'll select this thing again and I'll pick this. So what will happen automatically, you can see I'm having a little bit of match of shadows, and if needed, I can show it to you. Like now my shadows are matching. Now it's time to match my highlights. And also I'll make sure that in my grade node, I am multiplying this thing with alpha because I don't want anything to affect on my scan plate. Only changes I want on my 3D renders. And to match highlights, I'll decrease my gamma. And if I can see, I'm having a good amount of highlights. So I'll go over here and I'll pick my white point. I'll select this. Sorry, I need to disable this thing first, and I am going to select my white point of my target, and also I'll select white point of my reference as well. Like this point I can select, this point might be I can select. So I'll select gain and I'll pick this. Let's disable this. And if I'm going to enable my grade, you can see almost everything is matched. Can you see? So this is something you need to understand, how important it is to matching black and white. And of course you might see it's not matching, it's looking like it's on top of everything. So to fix it, just a quick fix. No, I need to spend some time, but just to show you, I took some references from here and I want to merge them on top of this thing. And if I'm going to show, if you can see, this is behind this and this is again, it's matching way ahead. So this is the way how I personally follow ACES workflow. And again, apart from here, if you want to take this thing to color grading to resolve again, you need to export that thing in EXR format. Just like I can take right node and I can just select over here whatever I want. I can render it in EXR format and directly I can take it to my color grading. So that's the entire process of following ACES workflow, which I oftenly follow. And if you want me to make this scene a complete live CG integration scene, you need to comment down below. I'll definitely make this scene a very good live CG integration complete shot, right? So I hope this video is interesting and you have learned something new. And if you think that through my videos you are learning something new, please don't forget to like this video, share this video, and if you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe. With this said, this is VFX5 signing off. Have a good day.